Hello and welcome. I am Scarberlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server. We are with our level 22 brute, Quintessence Lass, who has 193 experience earned, 42,000 to go to get to a level 23. And she's down to 183,000 influence because we bought her a bunch of enhancements. So let's take a look at how I have these powers enhanced. These are all single origin. I didn't bother with any of the inherent powers, but of course I did the inherent fitness and the leaping pool. We have plenty of influence, and I can email myself more, so I didn't worry about saving things. Normally, you would not do swift, hurdle, combat jumping, or super jump at this level because you wouldn't have enough free cash for it, but we've already given ourselves a million influence, and we can give ourselves millions more. Health and stamina are now triple SO'd, which is fantastic. We now have in our defenses, our kinetic shield is fully functional, fully slotted. We're at 20% smashing and lethal defense. The rest of it is trivial, like energy is only a few, which means we're reducing the base to hit of enemies our level from 50% to hit to 30. A dampening field is giving us 14% resistance to smashing and lethal, and 10% or 11% resistance to energy. And energy protection is giving us and more energy damage resistance, as well as toxic and negative resistance. And of course, power shield, we don't have the defense part enhanced, but it's giving us some more defenses as well. In our offensive power, Shadow Maul is 6 slotted now. It's got double accuracies because I don't want it to miss. It is a long time DOT, or damage over time, so a single miss isn't just a single miss. You're now standing there whiffing for like 3 seconds or whatever, however long is it that it animates. It is 3 seconds, yeah. So you didn't just miss once, you missed for 3 seconds. So it's really painful to miss that Shadow Maul. We want to make sure we hit it. Plus it's an AoE, we want to get everybody in it. So we now are at damage is almost doubled. Our accuracy is 76% higher than normal, and our endurance cost has been reduced from 8.5 to 6. It doesn't recharge super fast. There's just no way to do that without a set, both endurance reduction and recharge. We've been having endurance problems. Now, once we get endurance reducers on these other powers, then we may be able to take this one off of Shadow Maul and put on a recharge. That'll happen as we level up. Once this fades to yellow or red and we replace it, we might replace it with a recharge. Our other powers do have rechargers on them rather than endurance. It would have been a possibility to put the recharge on Shadow Maul and then put endurance on these two, but I wanted them to, particularly Siphon Life, to recharge a little faster. It's now going to be usable every 7 seconds, Shadow Punch every 2 seconds, and Smite will be usable every 4 seconds. So we shouldn't have any more issues with our attack chain. It's not going to be perfect. We probably still need one more attack to completely close it in, but it's pretty good. And we now have Taunt, which is on a recharge, so every 7 seconds we can taunt if we want. We can use that as a pull. So our character is in pretty good shape, and I really want to see how she plays now with all of these single origin enhancements on it. I've got a set of inspirations that is about what I want for fighting elite bosses, because I think that's about what we're going to do. Part 6. The information Castillo had matches what Nocturne told us, so I guess we're not at the end yet. Arachnos has been bringing men and materials into the city through a series of underground rivers that lead to the ocean using submersibles. Arbiter Sands will attempt to leave the city in the same way. We know where and we know when. This is our last chance to keep Arachnos from getting the Psychochronometron. There's a lot to ask. Can I count on you? Yes, you can. Good. The underground tunnels depend on the tides, so we have some guarantee of the departure time. This place will be heavily defended. You'll need to cut off Arbiter Sand's means of escape by destroying any and all submersibles docked. Okay, so I remember this now. I don't know that we're going to need these things. I'm not sure if we're going to fight him as an elite boss. But we just have to go into the tunnels somewhere. Over here. This character is going to be super awesome now. I've been enjoying Super Jump. It's a lot of fun now. It's 30% enhanced, plus it's a level 22 super jump instead of level 8 super jump, where it's like even weaker than it would normally be at 14 when you take it. So we're basically jumping, I would say probably at this point twice as far, if not longer, than we were jumping way back at level 8 or 10 when we got it. I think it was 8. See how hard they're having harder time they're having hitting us because our defenses are much higher now. All right, let's remember to turn on combat jump so I don't drain the endurance. We should be pretty good on endurance now with 3 SOs in stamina and a lot of endurance reducers. And now we're going to fight yellows. So let's see how we do against these yellows. It might be time already to buff to +1 missions. And you can see that we're doing okay on our attack chain at this point. They pretty much have a closed attack chain now. I mean, it's barely closed, but it's closed. Right? It's not as comfortable as, say, we were with Silver Phoenix at level 40 with their martial arts, super reflex, and all those martial arts attacks. But we don't have all the attacks yet. And we will be getting, I think, at least 1 or 2 more. So, and we could use Fear at some point. We will probably get it. It's just that it doesn't do any damage. And see, even with triple accuracies, or double accuracies rather, we still missed. And so it can happen sometimes. And our endurance is holding up quite nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. I think this is going well. SOs are such a game changer. And it really makes a character play so much better. Generic invention enhancements are not the game changer that SOs are, compared to SOs at least. I mean, obviously they'd be a game changer compared to DOs, but they're not the game changer that SOs are, because all they do is just not expire, but they don't give you appreciably more benefit than the single origin enhancers do. Especially at this level, it's actually worse. If you got the level 25s in, it's about equivalent, just slightly worse if you got the level 32s in, and then the level 30s in, and then level 35s and above are as good or better than SOs. And that's why I'm in no rush to put the generic invention enhancers on. I'm perfectly fine waiting until we have level 30s for those. And then those would be like having yellow SOs on our powers at all times, which is not super great, but they never expire, so that's helpful. But what I really want is 35 and above. Right, and of course there are people who want all 50s, and they don't want any generics, they want all sets. And that's fine, but we're not going to worry about that too much with this character, because we know we can't buy a lot of sets for her. Right, we'll get a few. We will have the brute sets by the end, and maybe a handful more. But if you look at Nightmare Lass only had sets on about, I think, a third or so of her powers. Alright, she had the 2 archetype sets, and then I think she had maybe 4 or 5 other sets, and that was it. And so sort of to address what Kievar was talking about in one of the comments some time ago, and how the really big min-max builders, what they do is they build partial sets, right? They get the exact bonuses they want. They don't take the later bonuses that they don't need in this set. They go get the earlier bonuses from another set that they want, and that's how they do it. I don't do that. I can't be bothered to max out like that, and I don't think it's necessary. As you can see, this character is already kicking butt and taking names just with SOs, so what do we need that for? To do, I guess, incarnate trials. Well, we're not going to do that. Or to do +4 missions. Well, I don't need to do that. You guys are just building my fury, you know. Look how built up it is. Look at the damage we're doing to this guy. Just getting his butt kicked. Alright. Yeah, so that was a bit draining. Some of that was possibly from the Fortunata. I don't know if she was draining our endurance or not. But our endurance is already pretty much back. And now we can get our hit points back. And we're good to go. And these are the subs we have to destroy. And we're getting ambushed again. Look at that. 20 damage per hit times 2 20s per hit times 4 hits. Right? It's like 160 damage in a single shot. That is awesome. Look at that. Just absolutely destroying. Is that a boss? That's just a lieutenant. I saw how big it was and I thought it was a boss, but it's not. You know, for somebody who has a very high defense right now, I'm sure not getting missed much. But I guess we're alright, because we've got resistance. And obviously, we're doing fine in the sense that our hit points are way up there. Still having a little bit of trouble with endurance. But it's not too bad. By the time we find the next spawn, we're in good shape. One of the issues is how spread out these guys are. If they were closer together, I could do the dark consumption and suck in their endurance, but with them spread out, I'm not going to just do it to one guy. We got a badge. What was that? Spider Smasher. That's from all the Arachnos we've kicked the butt of. Come on. Come on. Let's see. There should be guys up above, too. The subs are helpless, so we're going to worry about them last. And my recollection is we have to pull these guys. So it's a good thing we've got a taunt, because that'll do a nice pull. Yeah, this character is doing really, really well. Alright, now you guys are doing me a favor. I don't really need it, but now we could do Dark Consumption. There we go. And that smacks all of them. And that will be recharging in just under 2.5 minutes. Yeah, one of the things that's going to be a little rough with that, and in terms of timing when to do it, is you tend to need it after you're finished with a spawn, but it's actually only good to use at the beginning of a spawn when everybody has surrounded you. And somebody in one of the comments was talking about how their technique was to do something like this, where they attack a different person one at a time so that they all get debuffed. I happen not to agree with that strategy, and the reason is that the debuff isn't high enough, and it doesn't last long enough. So all you're doing is dropping them from like 50% to hit to like 42% to hit, but they're all still trying to hit you with that amount. Whereas if you focus on one guy, you can floor him by just doing like -7, -7, -7, -7 before the others expire, and you can make him have a really hard time hitting you. And we have experience with this. We've had it done to us when the Circle of Thorns demons do it, and you can see that like I friggin' can't hit unless I have an inspiration. That's what we want to do to them. You see, she just missed me because I had her debuffed. And so, yeah, she hit with 2 out of 3, but she would have hit with all 3 if I hadn't debuffed her. So to see what I'm talking about here, if you take a look at Smite, for instance, wrong thing. It's a -5.6% debuff. Shadow Maul, -5. Shadow Punch, -5. Siphon Life, -5. You hit one guy with all 4, he's at -22 to hit. You hit 4 guys with 1 each, they've gone from 50% chance to hit to 45%. It's not worth it. To me, you're much better off making sure that one guy absolutely can't hit you and then take him out, and then go to the next guy and that guy can't hit you and take him out, and so forth. Anyway, that's my philosophy. It's not the way you have to do it, of course, but that's how I do it. I'd rather debuff one guy. I'd rather floor one guy than just plink away at the 2 hits of 4 guys. Meanwhile, I haven't taken any of them off the board. They're all like, 3/4 hit points, and they're all still swinging at me. I'd rather take one of them down and let the others swing at me without the debuff. I'll debuff them next. But again, that's my philosophy. Nobody else has to do it that way. I thought there were a lot more enemies in this mission. I could have sworn I remembered Liberty Lass doing a lot of pulling. But I guess not. I don't see anybody else. Alright, so we're going to go from this side, I guess, because I want to hit the guy in the white first. The white con first. I will not be able to pull him away from Sands, but that's fine. Alright, let's go get him. Alright, now we go after Sands. I'm ignoring his little bots. I will AoE them, because that does reduce their 2 hit, I think. And I'm perfectly happy to catch this guy in the AoE and reduce his 2 hit, but I'm focusing on Sands, trying to floor the crap out of Sands. I'm not going to switch targets. I'm just going to pound the crap out of Sands, and he has no chance against me with SOs. He has no chance. Here he goes. Oh, he's still up. One more. And that's him. We got a clue. What does he say? Though dead and battered, this is it, the Psychochronometron, a device capable of altering reality by transforming psychic energy into temporal energy and editing history itself. Alright, so now we just have to blow up the subs. And this is just a series of punching. You just sort of have to sit here and punch it until it goes. And it doesn't like the AoE for some reason, which is really weird. Yeah, I'm right on top of it and it's saying it's out of range. That's really weird. So that makes it take longer. Come on. There we go. We're going to have to get hit with this because I don't have a good ranged attack. I mean, I guess I could pull out the Nemesis Staff, but it's not worth it. These will go faster as we get more furious. Right as our fury goes up. Oh, sorry about that. I keep clicking that because it's just sort of habit. You see it's up and you want to click it. And I guess there must be one more mission after this. I think Sands and Nocturne escape. And then we have to go capture them again or something? Not sure. But I could swear I remember there being multiple elite bosses and it was up to you whether you wanted to fight them all or not. I can't remember exactly how that worked though. So we'll see when we get into our next mission, I guess. I love when you miss something like a sub. That's literally missing the broadside of a barn. And that is the mission, guys. Out we go. That was cool. I feel like I had a much harder time doing that with Liberty Lass because I feel like there were a lot more guys. I wonder if I had her on ×2. I bet I did. Let's just stop somewhere safe and go ahead and call because we may have to come back here. He says, so this is it? Incredible. We both know what it can do. It has to be destroyed, and in a manner that prevents it from ever being built again. That means using the psychochronometron against itself to edit its own history, and maybe even some of the laws of reality. Turning Fault Line into a villain is trivial compared to this. To overcome the backlash, you'd need someone with more psychic power than Sister Psyche, someone with psychic power on the order of the Clockwork King, or Penelope Yin. Finale. The psychochronometron must be destroyed permanently. The only way to do it is by having an immensely powerful psychic use the PCM on itself so that it can't work again. To do that, you'll need to contact one of the most powerful, albeit untrained psychics on Earth, Penelope Yin. However, this will not be easy for 3 reasons. Arbor de Sands, Nocturne, the Night Widow, and Captain Castillo, have all escaped during their transfer to the Zagurski's penitentiary, and I fear they're all going to try to intercept you. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll have a chopper waiting to take you to Penelope Yin's market. Be careful. You might want to get help if you haven't already. So, secure Penelope Yin, give her the PCM, and tell her to order it never to work again. She should be able to take care of the rest. If you encounter Arbiter Sands Nocturne, the Night Widow, or Captain Castillo, don't concern yourself with them. In fact, you may be able to get them to eliminate each other considering their history. Getting the PCM to Penelope is your only objective. Stay on track. Okay, so we have to go back here anyway. And I want to talk to him and get the right set of inspirations. I want 4 purples, 2 yellows, 2 greens. And I think that'll be our set. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat 3 elite bosses. It'll depend on how much they've damaged each other. If we can get them to damage each other at all, we're going to try to just do the mission. And then after it's complete, stay in there and tackle the bosses if they're still up. I'd love to fight all 3 and see how we do. I know Liberty Lass, I think Liberty Lass beat 1 or 2 and had like the other 1 or 2 down to slivers. She did pretty well, but Liberty Lass is a tanker and she had a lot of defense compared to us. Our defenses aren't nearly as good as hers because we're not a tanker. So store and 2 Lux and 1 Insight. And we'll see how they do us. But first we got to get to Penelope Yin with super jump. That should be easy to do. We should be able to jump over all the nasty, but we'll see. I haven't done this mission in like a year, so we'll see how it goes. I hate these things. It's always so hard to click on it. I gotta click on him. There it goes. Alright, I guess we're going in. It also takes a really long time to do the animation to jump in and then load the screen. And I know the first few times I tried to do that, like on the ship to Striga Island, I thought I was bugged. Okay, so there they are, but we want to get to Penelope Yin. So where's Penelope Yin? She's here, right? Yeah, that's her. And then optional is beat the 3 bosses. Alright, so we've defeated her. Now let's see what we can do about these guys. Alright, there's Nocturne. Let's see if we can take her out. And now we want to take out this thing. Now we go after Castillo. Yeah, we're going to have no problem with him. And now it's us against Sands. We've already beaten Sands, so we should not have a problem with him. Yeah, I don't know why Liberty Lass had trouble with this. I think they were not as beaten up by the time she got to them. But we're absolutely going to be able to beat Sands here, no problem. I mean, he hadn't even done anything to us. And he's so debuffed now, he's completely floored. Or maybe not floored, but he's pretty debuffed. And that's it. We got our bonus. Good deal. Wow, look at that. We got all these single origins. We don't even need them. We have them already filled up. Oh, well. I guess I should have done this. I was going to say, I guess I should have done this mission first, but if we hadn't had single origins, it wouldn't have been that easy. Alright, guys, we're back, and we have completed this task, so we're going to talk to Agent G, who says, "It's over. The Psychochronometron is destroyed and can never be rebuilt. Sans, Nocturne, and Castillo are all back in custody. We won't be able to hide Penelope and his powers anymore, so we're arranging for some tutoring from Aurora Borealis and others for her. Arachnos and the Sky Raiders still have their bases here, but I feel confident that Longbow and the PPD will be able to contain them. You save the world today and maybe reality itself. That's something to think about. As for me, after all this reality bending stuff, I think I'm going to go to Yin's Market for us shave ice. He does them Hawaiian style, my favorite." Well, that sounds really yummy. I've never had Hawaiian shave ice, but that sounds really cool. Alright, Agent G, we're done with you. We're going to head inside. Now we have to think about what we want to do for our next contact. We're level 22. And 26 minutes in, so I think I know it's a short episode, but we've kind of finished up, and I think that's good. I actually may do some looking up. I want to find if we can, I think we can do it now, the Wheel of Destruction, and I definitely want to figure out at what level. I think it's 25 to 30, Scroll of Tieleku. We are doing that story arc because they are two of my favorite story arcs in the entire game, and I've missed them a couple times with other characters, so I'm not missing Scroll of Tieleku again, because I think that's the best story arc in the entire game in terms of the story, and I like Wheel of Destruction a lot also. So I'm going to look those up so I can remember which contacts I have to talk to and exactly when, and we may start those next, or maybe we'll start them later if they're post level 25. We've got a lot of contacts now and a lot of people to talk to. So until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes on the Rebirth server.